Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. It's going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So this is going to be my final video in the Artifact Guide series. This one is going to be based around niche sets. Sets that perhaps most people don't use or don't talk about very much. What I want to do is just talk you through where they've got a use, how I would use them, and what type of champions I'd probably put them on. So this one is going to be a little bit different. Hopefully you get some good value from it because I don't think I've seen anything on this type of topic before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through the dungeons. There's some pretty obvious stuff in here like life, offense, crit rate, resistance. I'm going to talk through some of the ones that perhaps aren't discussed that frequently. So we're going to start with Vice Golems. I'm going to talk through the ones that I use and kind of where I use them. Defense set. It's not really a niche set, but it's also not farmed very consistently. There are some defense-based champions that massively benefit from this set. The one that springs to mind is Valkyrie. Valkyrie generates a shield 100% based on defense. If you can get defense sets into her build, she's going to get a higher base defense, and therefore she's going to scale those shields even further. Pretty much, I would only put defense sets on people that have got a really high base defense already. Not really a niche set, but I thought I'd just bring it up into this anyway. The next one, Reflex. Reflex is actually a pretty cool set, not used very much. So Reflex has got 30% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown. I would use this set on people that have only got maybe one skill that can cool down. So a good example is Bad El Khazar. If you're not using Bad El in a speed-tuned clan boss team, he's got a passive for his A3, so that's not going to be something that goes on cooldown. An A1 can't go on cooldown, so all that leaves is this A2. So his A2 is 3 turns at the moment. You put him in a reflex set, and you potentially could reduce the cooldown on this. You've got a 30% chance every time you have a go to reduce the cooldown on this skill. Very nice if you want to regenerate that skill as quickly as you can. Skull Crusher is another good example. He has got only one skill that can cool down. It's exactly the same scenario. If you want to get this skill back quicker, then let's say you don't have books to invest here and you want to try and get the chance to get the 4 turn down to the 3 turn, then Reflex set can be really good in this kind of niche example. Another good example would be if you've got somebody like a Renegade or a Prince Kaima. I think I've got Kaima out somewhere. Kaima, where are you? Kaima. So his first 2 abilities are probably not used as much as his last ability. His last ability has got a 7 turn cooldown, but it's an insanely cool ability. So if you're trying to get a double use out of this ability in something like a dungeon or faction wars, then a reflex set on a Prince Kaimar can be really, really effective. So a skill that you really want to get back, but it's on a long cooldown, that's a good example of where you might use reflex as well. Pretty cool skill set. I personally wish it was less than 4 piece. Then I think it would get a lot more use. If this was like a 3 piece, if they reduce some of these sets to 3 piece, I think it would be better. The other one in here, which is not used that much, but is a really good set, is Taunting. Taunting gives you a 30% chance to put a provoke debuff on somebody. Now, if you've got a high defense-based champion with AoE abilities, a good example of that is someone like an Umbral. So if you've got someone that's going to throw out AoEs and is high defense, then a Taunting set could be good here just to get more provokes off. You do not need any accuracy to land a set bonus debuff like Taunt. So you could actually throw someone out there with 0 accuracy and still get a 30% chance to land that debuff. Another good example would be somebody like a Scartorsis. He's got AoEs on his abilities. You can run with 0 accuracy and still get provokes off. Really good for that. Good in places like Spider. If you want to just get somebody out there AoE and provoking. Yeah, pretty much anyone who's got AoE abilities that you want to draw attention in on to allow your damage dealers to do something else. You could even build people like a Senacia, tanky, and get them in a provoke set. You could build a Nazana in a provoke set anybody that's going to have a pretty reasonable base defense level that you can run AoE abilities with. Somebody like, actually, she's probably sitting in my vault right now, but she's quite a cool champ for this, is, where are you? I think she's called Infernal Baroness. Maybe she's not in my vault. She's basically got AoE abilities. She's a defense-based champion. Yeah, this girl here, Infernal Baroness, defense-based. I've got her in a stun set. Provoke set would equally be as strong, and you get a 30% chance of that landing, whether you build accuracy or not. Accuracy makes no difference to a set bonus. So that's this one's. Retaliation has got a kind of niche chance to do something strong. 25% chance to counterattack. Mainly for the arena, I'd say. If you've got somebody that's got heavy hitting AoE damage and you want them to have a chance to slam that damage out just by taking a hit, Skull Crown comes to mind as one of the best for this. Every time she does an AoE ability, she's going to crack someone hard. Build them with very slow speed, but a really good chance to do that damage. So this is quite a niche set. If we go into Dragons then, we know about all these top ones. Destroy set, at the moment, I cannot see a reason for that to be in the game. There's no content where this really works. I guess the only place that maybe it could work is if you pair it with someone like that Skull Lord, new guy, but I still don't think it really has got a place. Frost set, I wouldn't say it's that niche, but you've got a 20% chance to place a freeze if you get hit. Different to stun, different to provoke. This is if you take a hit, not if you deliver a hit. But again, if you've got a high tank, high resistance build, and you want to be annoying, you could put them in freeze gear and try and freeze people up. I would mainly suggest this is like a faction war or the arena type of area. Day set works very similar to that stun set, not as good. Pretty much I would only use a day set if I've got one person on my team that's AoE that can do like a blanket sleep, and then you've got the rest of your team as single target people that won't wake everybody up. Days will keep them asleep until they take a hit, but it will make them miss a turn. So days can be pretty useful if you're just trying to control waves and you don't have stun sets. Stun sets like the next upgrade on days, really. But very good for faction wars, very good for controlling waves in places like dragons on an AoE damage dealer. Again, you need no accuracy to land that ability. Stalwart set, we've probably seen it talked about a little bit. Really actually useful for somebody that's got ally protection, somebody that's going to take that shared damage on. They're actually going to take 30% less of the shared damage if the rest of your team are taking AoE hits. Stalwart's become, it's kind of gone up and down in terms of the meta. You know, sometimes it's like we should be using it, sometimes it's just forgotten about again. Very good set to put on somebody that's got low base defense. So if you've got someone in your team that you want to run in certain content, let's take Inifri for an example. Really low base defense. If I just want him to be able to take a hit in the arena, I could throw Stalwart gear on him. He would take 30% less damage from AoE hits. It's actually a lot less. That's a massive reduction of damage. So Stalwart pretty much best for anybody that's got a really low base defense. Avenging, a bit similar to that, to the retaliation set. Just get a better chance, actually a slightly higher percentage chance to counterattack, but you have to be hit with a crit. So for me, this set's not that good. Fire Knights then. Fire Knights is where I think you've got the best sets in the game when you get to Endgame. And there's definitely some niche sets here that you can use in certain situations. So Fury set is very cool on somebody that can become unkillable, and you know they're going to take a ton of damage. Skull Crown, Umbral, Skull Crusher, but really it's only worth using in the arena. So someone that you think is going to take a ton of damage, and then you're going to smack back with a big hit. That's the only time where this becomes useful. But even then, it's got some restrictions in it. For me, I probably wouldn't use this set. I'd probably just sell it. Curing, sell straight away. Immunity. I don't know if this is a niche set, but it's one that people don't talk about a lot. Endgame Arena. This is probably the strongest set in the game. Basically, it means that you can withstand things like the Torm and freeze chances. As long as you go first, if you're in immunity gear, you've got the upper hand massively. Immunity set basically means that you will not be debuffed, frozen, slept, any of that stuff for the first 2 turns in the arena. Really strong, really strong. This is a gear set that you should farm once you get to that kind of end game arena. I think for the arena, it's the best set in the game. Shield set's not really niche, but really good to have a shield set as you're coming up through the ranks. Put it on somebody that's high HP naturally, and you'll get a much more strong benefit from the shield set. Every time you go into a new wave, you'll get a fresh shield. Really, really cool for Faction Wars to have one of your team in a shield set. Crit damage is what it is, not really a niche set. Frenzy gear can be pretty cool. So if you do not win the speed race in the arena, Frenzy gear can absolutely help you do that if you've got a champion that's going to speed you up. So good champion for this set potentially can be Muslim Mage. Put him in a Frenzy set. Everyone takes a bunch of damage. You're going to go second. He soaks that damage in a Frenzy set and will go quicker. That's what Frenzy set does. As you take damage, you go faster. And then he could use this ability here. Remove all debuffs. And if you're removing debuffs, you fill turn meter. Basically, that enables your team to get back in the speed race. Another great champion for that set, and it's actually what I've got him wearing right now, is Scar Torsis. So same sort of thing. He takes the damage up front, then he does his rebirth ability, takes all debuffs off and fills turn meter according to the number of debuffs that you remove. Similar to Morsian Mage ability, just gives you a chance to get back into the speed race. Really cool ability. You can kind of put it on anyone that you want to guarantee they're going to make them go first, as long as they're quite tanky. Or you could put it on somebody that is unkillable again, that you want them to take the damage to speed up their turn. So that's quite a cool set for that. But again, very niche. Regen, I sell every single time, all the time. Terrible set. Stun sets, one of the best sets in the game for crowd control. 18% chance that you're going to land a stun. Throw it on an AoE champion that's in your team for something else. So I've got mine on a Diabolist. I literally just ran Faction Wars today. Level 20 Demon Spawn on auto. And I had a rare running in that team. And it was the rare that everybody can farm. I do have a guide out on her. She's in a stun set. So basically, every time she does this ability where she speeds up your team, I've got a chance to land stuns. Stuns for days. I've got stun sets on my Bellowers. AoE damage on all their skills means that every time they do a hit, they've got an 18% chance to stun everybody, or one person each time. Stun set on my War Maiden. She does an AoE decreased defense. It's pretty much all she's in the team for, so I may as well get a stunning and get a couple of enemies out of the game. You could put it on someone like a Fellhound really well. Anybody that's got that AoE damage. Another really good one here, Zephyr Sniper. AoE hits, throws out stuns. Really good set if you're struggling to get through waves. One of the best sets in the game for wave control. Really good on your Faction War teams. And then lastly, Savage set. It's not really a niche set. Hard set to get 4 good pieces. It's one of the highest damage dealing sets in the game. Don't sleep on this set. If I could get more Savage, I would in a heartbeat. If I could prioritize what I got from this dungeon here, I would go Immunity, Savage, Stun, Crit Damage. They'd be like the 4 that I'd be really keen to get now in the end game. So look, hopefully that's been useful, guys. Not a lot of people talk about those sets. Let me know if you're using them down below in a comment. Any kind of inventive ways that you're using them. Let the rest of the community know. That's been my 4th and final guide to artifacts. Hope you found them all useful. If you haven't seen them all, I'll kind of throw the cards up for you to have a look at the other ones. I've been Hell Hades. Catch you all later.